This the War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space, now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
I'm all ready. I'm battle tested. This the story of a fighter who's got nothing to lose. Battle tested. Next opponent he choose will be left broken and bruised. Just me and my crew, we battle tested. Coming for everything and you know we'll wreck it. Let the first warrior stronger than me take a shot at coming here to try to brawl with me. I'm ready for war.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the War Report After Dark. Boy, once again, as we get closer to War Games, we have a lot to cover. So I want to thank everyone for checking this out. Al, what's going on with you, brother?
Good, man. I'm excited, man. Talking wrestling this time of year, and the greatest part about it is we haven't even hit the road to WrestleMania, which is just insane that we have really been saying this for the last few months, and we're
amazing?
not even in the road to WrestleMania. And like you say, time and time again, it is a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Yes, sir. It really is. It really is. And before we dive deep in, as usual, we have our good friend over at YouTube, David Rosca. Tyson versus Paul was a waste of time last Friday night, and today, Trish Stratus won her first WWF Women's Champion yesterday, 22 years ago. So always count on David for the history lesson. I got to be honest with you, I don't really want to get much into it because I'm so fucking disappointed about that fight. I don't even want to address it. That's how disgusted I am with it.
All I can say about the fight is the fact that we have to realize it is a 58-year-old man. If it was staged, then so be it. He made his $6 million or whatever, or $20 million.
$20 million purse.
$20 million.
And Paul got 40
for 16 minutes of his life, and he really didn't get hurt. He just got hit a few times. So, hey, more power to you, Big Mike. I love you. I really just hope you kick this smart-ass's mouth. But, hey, man, you got paid. I can't hate on that.
It was fucking horrible. Tara says hi. All right, well.
Hi, Tara.
Let's get into what we came here to do, and that's talk some wrestling. I think we need to really we have to backtrack. Well, all right, we're gonna be all over the place again because I wanna talk about first and foremost this backstage segment with Jay and Jimmy and Sammy and Roman. And as soon as the music hit for the Bloodline 2.0 and they all turned and looked at the TV, I didn't catch this at first, but it's all over the internet and people found it and now it's out there slowed up. There's arrows pointing to it. Sami Zayn takes a phone out of his pocket and he throws it like on the couch, I think, or switches pockets or something like that. So now everyone's trying to figure out, because at the end of the show, Roman Reigns finally did the thing and he called the wise man and the phone was disconnected. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen this footage?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
What's your theory on this?
I if I'm not mistaken, I think they replayed it and actually slowed it down in
on
that
the show?
segment on Raw. On Raw, because that happened on SmackDown last week, right? Or was this on Monday?
You know, I don't even fucking remember.
I could have sworn it was on SmackDown. No, because Roman wasn't there, so it was definitely Monday. But I think they did a replay, and in the replay, I noticed the phone transaction thing. I don't know what to say of it because at the end of the day, if he would have called up from Sammy's phone, um, the wise man's phone shouldn't be off regardless. So I don't know what to say from that point of view because
Well,
that it said the number you have reached has been disconnected. You could call it from a payphone.
that's right. But could it be that Sammy is being a double agent and really with the 2.0 bloodline? Is it that maybe Sammy doesn't want Roman to get a hold of the wise man? That he kind of wants to be more of his wise man? Maybe he feels like Heyman is a poison to the bloodline. I mean, there's so many possibilities. Could it just be that we're all just looking too deep into it? Like maybe he knew they were going to go out and he just wanted to throw his phone so it didn't get broken in the ring. Like there's so many different things it could be. We're also, we're getting ready because Heyman's coming. And he's either going to be the one that brings out the fifth man, although I think after Raw we kind of know exactly who the fifth man is going to be, and we'll get into that. But we all are assuming that Heyman is going to come back to be Roman's wise man. But what if he doesn't? What if he comes back and he's with Solo? I mean, you can make a case for it. I think it's kind of crazy because the last time we did see Paul, he made it very clear, you're not my tribal chief, and then got his ass put through a table. We haven't seen him since. What do you think? I mean, it could be so many different possibilities, which is why this Bloodline storyline is still fucking great every week.
Well, I mean, yes, touche to that, right? The fact that we think about all these things and not already pretty much realize what's going to happen. Like, it's usually the case in pro wrestling, right? Because at the end of the day, it is a novel, and we usually get to know what the guidelines of quote unquote the process of getting to a storyline is going to be. But this time around, they're giving us so much that it's great. It has us thinking. We are in this phase right now of multiple possibility in just one storyline, which is awesome. The only reason I cannot say that Paul Heyman will come back, and you stated it, he got his ass put through a table. But he is a Jewish boy from Brooklyn, and mama ain't raised no bitch. So I don't see how he's going to go back to the man that threw him through a table when he's been so faithful to Roman Reigns in the ring and truly in real life, because you saw how he spoke about him in his documentary. What Roman Reigns means to him, what his family means to him. Granted, the family does include Solo. However, the OG tribal chief is Roman goddamn Reigns. So I don't see no way how that can. I can see a little bit of a little how can I say it, proactivity from Solo trying to do what he did with Sammy, saying, hey, the wise man's coming back and he's joining the real, and then he might bring him out, and Paul might come out and be like, once again, you're not my tribal chief, and then you hear Roman's music, and then they might go at it. But I can't envision Paul Heyman joining Solo in this situation, at least right now.
I think it's time that we see a face Paul Heyman. You don't see it very often, and I think it would be great with this bloodline. Dave Abbey over at YouTube. The only thing that would make this work would be if 2.0 takes out Rollins sometimes before the match, and right before the match starts, Heyman brings in the fifth. I fucking love that idea. Because, and I thank you, Dave, because that was where I was going to shift next, is this fifth man. And obviously, because we got Bronson, it looks like, and after Raw, makes sense that now Rollins is going to agree to team with Roman one more time and be a part of this War Games. I hope to God Dave Abbey is right and he gets taken out prior and Heyman does bring in a fifth, and maybe it's another bloodline member. Because that would be more exciting.
I have a question though. I mean, I have a little thing to this. You know what's the one thing that for me will make this Rollins joining the bloodline exciting? If he comes out to the Shield music with a Shield attire. He does that, it automatically changes the atmosphere of this match. Because you don't have this, you have literally the architect coming back. And I would like the architect to come back and join his brother and his bloodline. I like it. I don't know why.
I don't know, man. I like, part of me is like, okay, I'd be somewhat okay with it, but I just think this is an opportunity to bring in another tree member, an actual bloodline member.
But my thing is this, right? And keep in mind, we are talking about WWE. They don't even, it's not even wrestling. Well, they are allowed to call it wrestling now, but entertainment, right? As they like to call it or frame. The thing is all about a pop. So if you do what David said, which I also agree with, and I fucking love it for the drama of the whole situation, is if he comes out with Brock Lesnar. Why Brock Lesnar? Because of the pop.
Right.
The pop that you get with a Brock Lesnar coming out, you're not going to get from any other Samoan coming through that stage, because the average wrestling fan is not going to know who that person is. So I don't think the pop is going to be the same. That's my only...
I want to also mention something about Bronson Reed, because I'm pretty confident that I heard an interview with him where he talks about that he is half Samoan. He's not in any way, shape, or form related to any of those Samoans. But I'm pretty sure I heard that, and that's part of his tattoo on his wrist and his forearm, that tribal tattoo he has. That's a part of his Samoan heritage. If I'm right, and I did hear that correctly, then Bronson makes sense. Even though he's not blood, he's Samoan. So, and he looks the part. I hope he stays with the bloodline. I think you and I were talking about that earlier off the air.
Absolutely.
I would love to see him stay within the bloodline. He fits, and I mean, I've been a very big fan of Bronson for a long time. I love what they've been doing with him lately. Everything with Braun Strowman and with Rollins, now with the bloodline. I love everything about it. I hope it stays that way. But I really do hope we get a different fifth member. I really don't want it to be Rollins. I will be disappointed. I mean, if he comes out with the Shield gear, all right, maybe a little bit better, but I'll still be overall disappointed.
Bronson Reed, the most devastating finisher in sports entertainment right now.
That tsunami is just everything.
He makes it look so good coming off that rope, man. And he seems like he's in the air for like 10 seconds.
It's the way he launches off. And he kind of like flails his arms a little.
Like
he's fucking
skydiving.
great. Yeah.
He's like he's skydiving.
I mean, that dude's 400 something fucking pounds. Can you imagine?
No, I cannot. I will hate myself.
Yeah, he's just an absolute monster.
So Steve, before we move on, because this is one of the best topics, if not Rollins, if not Brock Lesnar, who's going to be a member? Who would you say if you had to take a guess?
I think it's going to be that other Fatu with Zilla.
Right. So
maybe Zilla gets called in.
Zilla, okay.
He posted something and then took it down quickly, kind of teasing. So I don't know. I think it should be a blood member. You know, Rollins. I don't know. I'm just not sold on it. I have another question though. And this is kind of a little off topic, but are we really not doing anything with Cody Rhodes at fucking Survivor Series? This is one of your big four? Are you telling me that this world champion is not defending his title or doing anything at fucking SummerSlam? We're 2 weeks out.
Oh, that's right. Cody Rhodes in WWE. I forgot.
We're 2 weeks out. And there's nothing on the horizon with him at the pay-per-view.
not for nothing, but like Damian Priest is on my mind right now more than Cody Rhodes for this upcoming pay-per-view.
Damian Priest has a match.
Yes,
At
I
least he has
know.
a match with Gunther.
Yes,
And we'll talk about that too, because I'm not happy with how that went down on Raw either. But I yeah, I don't know, man. Dave Abbey over YouTube. Well, Shinsuke is back. Shinsuke is back, and I will say I'm liking the paint. Shinsuke hasn't worn face paint in a very long time, and that usually brings out a different side of Shinsuke. So, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we've done this before where we bring Shinsuke back as a heel, and it goes nowhere. Hopefully they book him right, but I was kind of excited to see this updated version of Shinsuke. So we'll see if they do anything with him. Time will tell. But what are we doing with Cody? He's your champion.
I think Cody's going to be selling T-shirts for the upcoming pay. I mean, what do you do 2 weeks out? Like, what
If
happened-
Orton is out and can't go, then you really need to have Cody versus Kevin for the
Well, I
title
mean,
again.
I'm
at
sorry.
the
That I think that is the match, right? The match is because they said Orton is out indefinitely, right? So he
Right.
can't come back in 2 weeks. That means it's Kevin and him. That's what you got to look at it. Probably a street fight.
But how do you put this together 2 weeks out?
Well, because they're brewing. So this is what they like to do. They do that sometimes. They give you they
I
tease the match,
know,
tease
but-
the match. It's like, all right, fuck it, we're out. This is what we're gonna do.
I know, but with your world champion, yawn. Yeah, I don't know. But either way, we'll see what happens. 2 weeks out. But those are really the big things. I mean, I am very excited to see this War Games Civil War. I do want to talk about the women's for a minute too, because that seems just kind of thrown together. Like there's no stakes. Like there's nothing. Like at least with the Civil War Bloodline, there's some stakes, right? But I feel like there isn't any in the women's.
At all.
No. I mean, I'm excited that you got Rhea back. Okay, great. She wasn't gone very long, so you didn't really have much time to miss her. But, I mean, I think it'll be a great match. But other than that, like, there's nothing. You know what they should have done? For the women, they should have done a traditional Survivor Series.
4-on-4.
Yeah,
5-on-5,
elimination style.
Uh-huh.
They should have done that, and then like the winner, the survivors, get a #1 contender match for the world title or something.
I honestly probably would have thrown them. I mean, because they all could go against each other in a way. There's not real friendships outside of maybe Naomi and what's her face because they're like real cool. But
Yeah.
I was about to say Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair. Like Bianca Belair and Naomi are friends. I think outside of the game, outside of wrestling or whatnot, they hang out, travel together.
Yeah,
But outside of that, I don't see a lot of friendships because think about Nia Jax is teaming him up with the new mommy now, and they just fought in overseas. So where's the friendship there? And then you got our favorite Tiffy time that in any given day is going to cash in on this lady.
stop. So I was thinking, how great would it be if after the War Games match is over, assuming that Bianca's team wins, what stops Tiffy from cashing in at the end of that match and walking out of War Games as your women's champion on Nia Jax?
I truly believe there's a very huge chance of that.
Because you're in a War Games match, you're you've gone through it with weapons and all types of crazy shit. How is that not the perfect time to say screw it? I'm gonna cash in.
I would fuck around and do one even. No, you can't do that because if you cash in during the War Game match, then it becomes a all-out championship match for the title.
Right.
No, but no. Well, how would that become a match within a match? Because think about it, you could do it anywhere. So think about if WWE gets real creative, and since they have like multiple referees, she could go outside, get her own referee, and after she gets her own referee, she comes in and she has a singles match individually with her, but they still are in a War Games match. Period.
I don't know if they would do that.
Th-
I
I
could
think
I
it's-
could see it happening more like when the match is over.
No, for sure.
But to
think
do
about
a
how
match within the match, I mean, it would be interesting.
interesting is it'd be great because you have two rings, so you could literally isolate that match in a way if you wanted to, and then people could come in and intervene, and then we could forget about the singles match, and then Tiffy could come out of nowhere when somebody hits, like say somebody hits Bianca with their great move, and now here we go. This
Right.
girl pushed him out of the way. She pins her, but they're still in the match. But she's now the WWE champion.
It would definitely be different.
I think that'll be so funny.
But I hope she does. I hope she cashes in.
And she wins when she catches it.
Oh, well, there's no question in my mind that when she cashes in, that she's going over. She's not going to be one that cashes in and loses. And that's
So
a
you-
very short list to begin with.
So what do you think? She cashes in. She probably has a rivalry with Nia again
Jax.
for a little bit, and then Flair comes back.
I mean, how great would Mania be? Charlotte versus Tiffy time,
Yeah, baby.
you know?
And Tiffy goes over, right? Or does Flair go over?
Well, you know what? That's a very hard thing to ask when you're talking about Flair.
Yeah.
Because Charlotte, you got to be fair to Flair, right? I don't know. I never bet against Charlotte. So that'll be a tough one. We'll have to see what happens because, when she comes back, initially she's going to be a face because the roof's going to fly off the place.
Oh yeah, the pop's gonna be crazy. But it all depends what she does, right? If she comes out to greet a friend and then she turns her back on her, then automatically she's
Yeah.
out.
That's true.
Gets the pop anyways because she comes out as a face, but
And then she turns immediately.
correct.
So I want to focus on SmackDown for a minute. Because I got to tell you one thing that took place on SmackDown. B-Fab stepped out of her manager role and had a triple threat match with Bayley and Candice LeRae.
Tremendous.
And I got to tell you, B-Fab impressed the hell out of me in that match. She did a great job, especially for somebody that you never see lacing up the boots. Right. She's always ringside cheering on the Street Profits. They gave her own music now, so it looks like they're going to start pushing her as a single star. I was impressed. I was very impressed.
You know what got me? It gave me a little bit of deja vu with her when I saw her step into the ring. Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus started as a manager and really wasn't really involved in wrestling per se. And all of a sudden she went into the ring and did a lot better and got better year by year. And I think this girl could be good. I also liked her music. Her music was pretty good also.
Yeah. I liked the whole presentation. I liked everything about it. She did a great job.
The match
was
overall
impressed.
was pretty good. The match
Yeah.
overall wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was a good match. And I think it went over the way it needed to. But there was a minute where I was like, holy shit, are they going to let B-Fab win this match?
They did tease it for a little bit.
Yeah, there were two close calls where I was like, oh shit, she might actually go over. So I was impressed with it. Santos Escobar interrupts the Open Challenge with LA Knight for the U.S. title, and it winds up being what's his face?
Him.
Berto, right? Is it Berto?
I have no idea what his name is.
One half of that takes.
Umberto. I think it's Umberto.
Umberto.
Yeah, Umberto.
Took the match anyway, and LA Knight got over on him pretty quickly. Motor City Machine Guns versus the Street Profits was a great match.
Before you move on, did you notice? I don't know if this was this week, but did you notice? Oh my God, why am I so bad right now? The match we were just talking about. Yeah.
LA
I
Knight.
forgot his name. LA Knight. Did you notice LA Knight's new belt?
No. They
Did
changed
you
the
notice?
belt?
Yeah, like the belt now has like United States stars. It's like blue, but in the strap you have like United States stars, and the whole leather has like the stars from the flag all over it. It looks pretty cool though.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I missed
Yeah,
that.
he's got a
Okay,
new one.
that's good to know. Motor City Machine Gun Street Profits was a great match until it got interrupted and thrown out when Gargano or Ciampa interfered. So he's going off the deep end.
Sure
But it
is.
was right. But it was a great match. Um,
He's one of those guys I'd rather see him as a heel than a face
yes,
because I feel
he
that's
even
really
looks
him.
like a heel.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Ball face, beard, shredded.
Right. We had another video shot with Kevin Owens in the car. I'm loving these promos where he talks about he's going to confront Cody this week on SmackDown. This coming week. But I love what they're doing with Kevin. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that's going to ultimately set up that match for Survivor Series. Nia Jax, Naomi. It was a good match. Jax got over. I mean, it was a good match, but nothing crazy. And then the main event was the debut of Bronson in that new bloodline at War Games, and they took out Roman Reigns with a couple tsunamis and some other shit. So SmackDown just keeps moving, man. I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's right now it's definitely going to shift right when we move to Netflix on Raw in January. But right now, if you had to pick the flagship for this year, it's hard to stay away from SmackDown, right?
Oh, I would say the last 3-4 years,
Yeah,
SmackDown has really been the A
right.
show.
I mean, yeah, ever since Roman Reigns became the tribal chief, they never looked back.
Right.
And all rumors point to that shifting to Raw because Netflix is demanding the tribal chief and the bloodline
Yeah.
to be included in their 3 hour show. So it's going to be exciting. We already got the release of the ratings. The ratings is going to be TV 14.
Yes.
So that's good. We're going to get a little bit more edgier wrestling and content and all that other language. So I'm excited as an adult to
Yeah.
witness all this.
Yeah. I just hope we don't have streaming issues like we did during the Tyson fight where I had to stare at 99% spinning for hours.
Yeah, that's up.
Like Netflix was not prepared, and they're going to have a turnout streaming wise similar to what they experienced with this Tyson fight because people are going to be interested to check it out. So, that's my biggest fear that we're going to have these issues. Or like something big's about to happen and all of a sudden it freezes and then you just see the 99%. I'll want to break the TV.
Yeah, they had to figure something out. But look, I'm sure at this point, if we're fans and we're we're shocked about it and panicking, I'm sure there's somebody from TKO that was on the phone with somebody from Netflix.
You better
Speaking
have
about
this shit
this
right by
matter.
January 6th.
Exactly. That's the exact conversation they were having, as polite as they can be.
So Raw last night. Though it was a good Raw. There were some bangers. We got Braun Breaker defending his title for the first time since regaining it against Sheamus. Another great match until that got interrupted by Ludwig Kaiser, who destroyed both of them.
Yeah.
But that was after Gunther pretty much told him that he needs to make a name for himself on his own and speak for himself and not to speak for him and this and that. So it really does look like they're teasing a potential Gunther face turn and a separation of Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser.
I don't know if there's a face turn coming. I feel like there's going to be a little bit more cowardness in the character of Gunther. They're gonna try to make him that unbeatable phase of him is gonna drag a little bit more. So he's gonna have to find other ways to go about it. That's the way I see it. I could be wrong. But yeah, man, I feel WWE definitely sees a lot good in Kaiser. I feel he could definitely be on his own, and
Kaiser's great.
he's very good, man, and he has
Mannerisms are good. His in-ring work is good. His mic skills are good. I like everything about him.
everything about him.
Dave Abbey over at YouTube, even if 3 million people watch, it would be 1/20th of the Tyson Paul fight. Well, that's probably true too.
No, definitely. I would say, well, how many views they get weekly?
Oh, I don't even know. We'd have to pull up the Nielsen reports, I guess.
I mean, I'm sure they'll probably be somewhere, yeah, 1-2 mil if that. I don't think it's going to be much more than that. Although the universe is growing every day, right?
Not only that, even people that haven't watched,
Right.
they're
At
gonna
least that
possibly
first
want to
episode.
tune in to that first
At least
episode,
that first
right?
episode.
Dave Abbey says 1.5 mil.
Yeah, I agree, Dave. I'm somewhere around 1.5 to 2 mil, somewhere around there. It's definitely gonna be a banger. They keep saying they're gonna have it more like a pay-per-view type. They're gonna try to make it or what do they call it now, PLE or
They call
Yeah.
them PLEs now.
PLEs, yeah. It's gonna be like a PLE. They're gonna have some, old school people show up. There's rumors The Rock might be there the first episode.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's gonna be where we pick up on this whole him appearing at the end of that match with Roman in the ring and him stating that he doesn't like what he sees with him and Cody teaming up. So
Oh, doing the finger cutthroat thing.
correct. That is going to be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. We got more of an update with the Wyatt Six and Bo Dallas, and man, is he looking more and more like Bray every fucking day, or what?
It was scary how much he looked like Bray in that last video they put out.
Oh my God, it's really unbelievable. It's every time you see him, it's like more and more like Bray, and if you close your eyes and just listen to him talk, you can almost hear Bray. I mean, it's scary how great it is, and I love what they're doing. I've said this in the past. Bo Dallas shines with these pre-taped segment promos. Not as much in the ring, but when he's doing these, they are awesome to watch, and I'm excited to see where this is gonna go. And it also has given some life to Karrion Kross and that whole crew. And, I don't see it really going anywhere for Karrion Kross like anything else. But they're still using him. And you said it last week, and it's really true. The Miz is making them more relevant right now.
Absolutely. Look, the Miz is like what I like to call like 10 karat gold. He ain't 24 karat gold. He ain't 18 karat gold. But you put him next to something, he's gonna take shit and make it shine. That's the way I feel about the Miz.
Yeah, Dave Abbey, like we don't know how it will end. He has absolutely lost all faith in anything Karrion Kross, unfortunately. But you can't argue with him or disagree because they haven't done dick with him since they pulled him out of NXT.
But at least they got him on TV steady now. That's a good.
That's true.
That is something he didn't have before. So.
And you know what that means for us? That means we get Scarlett more every week too. Just saying. She's beautiful. The War Raiders. I love that they are back to being the War Raiders.
Yes.
They should have never changed that from the beginning. The match with Dominic and Carlito was great. They win. They get attacked by Finn Balor and Big Head JD. So that's obviously setting up now a tag title match. I have a feeling the War Raiders are going to recapture the gold.
I believe so too. I mean, if you look at the track record of the current champions, what have they done with the belts? They defended once, maybe twice, if that. I don't recall them doing much with it. And so they need to move on from those belts. And the War Raiders are a very good team. I've always liked them. Back from injury, look good. Let's get the straps on them and let them get some good matches on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, the main event. We
I have a
got one more
question
time.
before we move on because we are talking about this. I don't know if you noticed this. Well, I'm sure you noticed it.
What's
Have
that?
you noticed the friction in Judgment Day?
Oh
Have you
yeah.
noticed the friction with Dom? Or
Oh yeah.
is that the inevitable split that we're going to get and that it's going to explode Judgment Day?
I think as soon as Finn and JD lose those tag titles, I think that will start to be the beginning of the true end of Judgment Day.
Okay.
I
So
do.
who turns face? Because they're not all going to be heels.
Well, it's not going to be Dominic and Liv.
But it's not going to be it's not going to be Finn. And nobody cares about Sir Lancelot, big head.
Oh, Carlito.
Oh, nobody cares about apple eating.
I love Carlito. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. Or who. I mean, you can't turn Dominic and Liv face. That's not possible right now. I mean, it's
No,
possible, but you're not going to want to.
I
The
can't
amount
see
of
it.
heat they have right now is just money making.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Unless Dominic starts taking steroids, he can't be a face. He needs to always be a heel. He just needs
That's
to
true.
stay a heel, keep cheating, be hated, get big pops.
Dave Abbey over at YouTube. Can we talk about the new women's mid card title? It feels like they created a new belt for Bailey.
No, oh God, no.
I understand what you're saying. I am kind of glad though that the women are finally getting a U.S. title belt. It just gives them something else because Lord knows the tag team titles mean dick. So hopefully this will mean something. But
I
yeah,
want
you're right. It very well could be Bailey.
I want Chelsea Green.
I would love for Chelsea Green to win
I
that belt.
want Chelsea Green to win the belt. I want her to win. She deserves a win.
She really does. She's so good at
She's
being a Karen.
awesome.
I
Oh my
love everything
God.
about her.
The best Karen. She's my only Karen I love.
She's great. She really
She's
is.
awesome. She's been on fire lately. Did you see the one? I saw this on online. She made the announcer. He just said her name regularly, and she made her correct himself. The guy, and he was like, and then he reintroduced her again. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Chelsea Green.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it
amazing.
was great, and the crowd, she got her big pop. It was awesome.
She's just everything about her is great. Uh, Dave Abbey says it's not going to be Tiffy or Jade. Huh?
Tiffy or Jade? No, I don't
It
think
won't
so
be.
either.
No, I agree. It won't be
I don't think
Tiffy for
so.
sure because I think Tiffy's winning the world title. Jade. I mean, until she separates herself from Bianca, that doesn't
And
right.
they are on opposite brackets, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, they might be.
So they could have them for the finals, but again, why put the title on somebody that already has a title? It defeats the purpose of the title.
Right.
So that's why I would eliminate them too.
And I don't know that Jade's ready to be a singles champion yet.
No, no, she needs singles matches first before we put a
Right.
strap on her. Yeah,
Well, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. I mean, and that's not to throw shade. She's gotten
No, no,
much
absolutely not.
better as time has been going, for sure. She's getting more comfortable. You can see that. So, putting her with Bianca was the smartest thing they could do.
So
Although,
outside,
there are rumors going around that they backstage do not like each other. I don't know how true that is, though. I think that's straight a rumor, to be honest.
Oh.
But
well, I'm sure that's heat to start building up the feud for when they do break up. But I mean, so for me, Bailey, Chelsea Green, honestly are two of the most obvious answers if we're not going to put extra belts on people with stuff on already, like Money in the Bank and tag team titles. They make the most sense.
It's a good looking belt, though.
Yeah, it's a very nice looking belt.
It's a good looking belt. So, main event, we had the Bronson Rollins match where there was shenanigans and Bronson gets over on Seth, which again is why I think it's inevitable that unless Dave Abbey's theory is right and he gets attacked prior, we're getting Seth Rollins as that fifth member.
Yeah, that's what it's leaning to, right? Due to the fact that WWE now is giving these wrestlers time off during like Christmas and Thanksgiving. We're gonna have some taped shows, so there's been something leaking the last.
And
couple of weeks.
I hate the tape shows, but I love how they're getting holidays with their family.
Yes, I also agree with that. I think it's awesome. I mean, they work more days than anybody I could think of at the moment. So the fact they can get at least those 2 holidays with their loved ones is awesome. But yeah, so based on uh, those leaked tapes, I was able to see certain things earlier in the week, and I didn't come across that part of the show, and I don't know, it was tough.
I mean, that's the one thing now, especially with social media. The tape shows are almost impossible to not have things get leaked. So that's why I don't really like the taped shows. But again, the fact that Triple H is allowing them to spend the time with their families, I think, is amazing. Because in the Vince McMahon era, he didn't give a fuck. You worked all those holidays.
Right.
I mean, from what I understand, he's big on letting people be there for their kids' birthdays and all that kind of, like, he's running it the way it should have been run for a long time. Dave Abbey, totally off topic, but Kane is going to be on Gutfeld tonight.
What is Gutfeld?
Yeah, what's Gutfeld?
Oh, it's a good question. I have no idea.
And is he going to be Kane? Or is he going to be his true self?
Have you seen, talking about Kane, have you seen that video about that wrestler called Cocaine that's been going around?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh my God, that is one of the funniest things.
Oh, he's going to be on Fox News. Gotcha.
Isn't it?
What time is that going to be? 11?
He's a mayor now, right?
He's been the mayor of Knoxville for a long time now. Because I would love to see Kane on Fox News, not Glenn Jacobs, but I would check it out.
You're watching Glenn Jacobs.
It's 10 o'clock. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, no, he's been the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee now for many years.
That must be a very... You definitely don't go to the municipal talking shit with that guy sitting there.
Could you imagine?
No. You don't. How are your roads? My roads are fine, sir.
But you know what? I used to say the same thing, like the Great Khali. I don't know if you knew this, but the Great Khali in India is a cop.
No.
Can you imagine him rolling up and asking for your license and registration?
Absolutely not. His knees will pop up to my window.
I don't see how anyone would ever argue or say anything negative to that man as he approached you. Although you could outrun the fuck out of him. He ain't chasing you.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you outrun him. You got to get away from him first.
Oh, how funny is that?
That's the problem. You go 10 feet away, his arm length would just grab you real quick.
Yeah, he's stupid.
It's a specimen. How tall was he? 7'4"? Or taller?
Yeah, I think he was even taller. He's a Trump guy. He posted about how Kane, Undertaker, and Trump took down Batista and Harris. Ooh. Shots fired? I knew he was a Trump guy for sure. Especially Knoxville. I mean, that's a red state.
100%.
Wow.
That is not easy at all, man.
No.
But I tell you what, what matches do we have right now that are confirmed for this upcoming paper? Like, obviously, we got the 2 War Game matches, right? We have
We have the 2 War Games matches for sure. Let's see.
because I don't recall a lot. I feel like this upcoming week is going to be very important to the conclusion of the show.
So Gunther versus Damien we have for the title.
Okay.
We have the women's War Games match, the men's War Games match. Oh, so on CBS, what website is it? On CBS Sports, they're saying that it's going to be Cody versus Kevin for the title,
Well, yeah.
and
covered.
Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the IC title. They're going to redo that because it got interrupted. Maybe they'll throw Kaiser in there and make it a triple threat.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Well, we know what's going to happen there. Hey, question: do you think Gunther's going over on Priest?
I do. That was something else I wanted to talk about. So they had this backstage segment, right, where Damien's signing autographs, and then
Right.
Gunther blindsides him and attacks him, and then the end shot is Damien reversing it all and getting over and standing over Gunther.
Kicking his ass.
Gunther has never looked like an underdog ever until now. I don't like the way he's being portrayed right now at all. But because of what just happened, I do think Gunther's going over on Damian Priest for sure.
Right. He's been taking too many L's the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, right.
Right. Usually. I mean, I'm always a big believer. The guy that beats up the guy before the pay-per-view always loses. So I guess we'll see on SmackDown.
Well,
overall.
that was Vince McMahon booking. That's how he used to do it. It's like if you got before the show, you were going over.
Okay. I mean, I
I mean,
see it
for a long
lately,
time too, if a champion came out first, that was a sign that they were losing also.
Oh.
That's really not the case anymore, but that's how they did it years and years ago.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I always remember back in the day, champs and faces always came out last, no matter what. That
Right.
was like the rule at a point.
But if the champion came out first, that was a good indication that they were losing.
Mm. I did not know that one. Learn something new every day.
See? Look at that. So, what else? We have anything else? Or did we get everything?
I think I'm going to buy WWE 2K, 24?
It's about time.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to do it.
You have the PlayStation, though, right?
Yeah, I got PS5. I'm getting tired of my my Madden gaming. I played it too much already. Although I mean I don't play often, but
It's a great
when I
game.
get to play it,
It's a great game. It really
Few
is.
times a month
They did a
and
good
that.
job.
yeah. I saw the graphics when I was over your house and I was highly impressed. So
The graphics are insane. It's they just keep doing a great job. That's one game I buy every year, just to kind of see what improvements they make. They used to do the midnight releases. They don't do those anymore. But GameStop, you used to be able to go midnight that if you pre-ordered it, and you'd play all night long. That's
I
how
have
we
a
used to do
question
it.
for you,
Yes.
Mr. Perfect, Razor Ramon, Bret the Hitman Hart. Start one, bench one, cut one. Go.
Ooh. Start one, bench one, cut one.
Correct.
Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart, and who?
Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. You know what? I'm sorry. Let me make it harder. Shawn Michaels.
Over who? Razor Ramon?
Yeah. Would
Oh,
that make it
fuck
harder?
you. Yeah.
Okay,
Dickhead.
there you go.
Well, Shawn Michaels, you gotta book him.
But will you start him or do you bench him?
Oh. I would start. I would start Shawn Michaels, bench Bret Hart. No, I would bench Mr. Perfect and I'd cut Bret Hart.
Holy shit!
Yep, I would. And
Wow,
the
you're an animal. I mean, look,
the
it's Mr.
only
Perfect.
reason I'm going that way is because I didn't like the fact that Bret decided to leave WWE and carry the grudge that he carried for so long. I think what bothers me the most is if you rewind, if Bret never left, a lot of the tragic events that happened shortly thereafter would have never happened. One of which being the end of Bret Hart's career. Because he wouldn't have been in WCW, he wouldn't have taken that kick from Goldberg, and he'd probably still be a top champion today.
That I could agree with. However, I could never cut the man Bret Hart. The
I know, but
worst
how do
thing-
you cut Mr. Perfect?
Because I'm not cutting Bret Hart.
Yeah, but Mr.
That's the
Perfect
only
is-
answer.
I mean, I can't argue it. See,
I-
I don't even know how I feel about my answer now.
I can't cut Bret Hart. Bret, the best there was,
Best there ever
the
will
best
be.
there is, the best there ever will be. You're
But
cutting
Mr.
that?
Perfect was perfect.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect never won the big one. I'm sorry.
IC title.
The big one.
IC title. That was a
The
big one.
one. Yeah, but Bret Hart had that. Bret Hart was a triple crown.
Who
guy
else
back-
can throw a football all the way down a full football field and catch it themselves?
with a video
Only
camera?
Mr. Perfect.
All of us. Yeah, man, that guy was great. The way he spit his gum every time, caught his towel,
It was
Like-
awesome.
just took a bump. Like there was no out on him. But again,
Even the music was great.
but Bret Hart for me, the only reason is that, right? Bret Hart was, I mean, Mr. Perfect was perfect. Like everything in there was.
But he was
perfection.
great in the ring too, Mr. Perfect.
No, he was great. That's what I'm saying. Even in the ring, the motherfucker, like his drop kicks were like no others. His Henning slam, was it Kirk Henning slam? What was the name of his finisher? Henny suplex.
The Perfect Plex.
The perfect plex. That was great. He made that move look better than anybody. And it was so simple, but he made it look great. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. But the excellence of execution, Mr. Sharpshooter, Mr. Take a turnbuckle in the chest and make you feel it like it hit you.
Well, there is one thing we definitely both agreed on. You start Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And look, I am a Bret Hart guy. And if you ask me my favorite overall, either Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart is over him.
See, I go Michaels over Bret Hart. In
Not me.
terms of who I liked more.
No, I was more of a Bret Hart guy growing up.
I mean, I loved Bret Hart, don't get me wrong, but I loved Shawn Michaels.
I liked Shawn Michaels, but I wasn't old enough to think it was. I couldn't root for the bad guy all the way.
I fell in love with Shawn Michaels the day he threw Jannetty through the barbershop window.
Wow.
And then took that magazine and said, "Is there a problem with the Rockers?" And he ripped it in half and said, "I don't think so." And then he became the sexy boy. And I loved everything about it.
I think I was crawling back then. So I didn't start.
I'm not that
watching,
much older than you, Dick.
but old enough for that little space. Because
You don't
this-
remember that?
No, bro, I wasn't around for that.
You have seen the footage,
Oh,
right?
I've seen it, of course.
Oh, okay. All
Yes,
right,
I've
as long
seen
as
the
you've seen
footage.
it. Okay.
Absolutely. A million of times. I love that now. But I'm
All right,
saying
just
when I
making
grew
sure.
up, Shawn Michaels was already the cocky guy with Sherry on his corner that like was just obnoxious and, you know, had the faux hawk and like he was just that guy always cheating to win. You know, he was great in the ring, but I didn't notice that as a 5-year-old or 6-year-old. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
No,
So
that's
for
fair.
me, and Bret Hart was that guy. He was coming up in the Continental Championship. I remember when he beat Ric Flair on a Saturday night. I couldn't believe it. I went in my room, called my dad, screaming, saying, "Somebody want a belt on regular TV, Dad." Remember, back in the day, they didn't do that. Back in
They
the
didn't.
day, it was rare for someone to lose a belt, let alone the WWF Championship on a fucking Saturday night main event or whatever the hell it was.
I think one of the first times I saw a world title change. I want to say it was a Saturday night's main event, and it was Hogan versus the $1 Million Man or something, and the twin Hebners got involved, and they were paid off by $1 Million Man, and Hogan lost, and it was a switch of the refs. It was a whole thing. It was very cool, and it was different, but Hogan lost. And I think that was for the title, and he got screwed.
Yes, I do recall that. Yes, that it was like his twin brother or something, right?
Yeah, well, Hebner, they're identical twins,
Okay.
and they were both referees. Yeah. Earl Hebner's the one everyone knows. The other one, I think, Dave Hebner. But they were, at one point, identical.
Right.
Now
Yeah, I do
one's a
recall
little
that.
heavier than the other, I think. But
I do recall seeing those clips. Actually, I seen that clip not too long ago, just on like you follow feeds that show you like old school WWF or whatever, and
Yeah.
that one actually popped up.
oh yeah, it will.
Nobody
It was a classic moment.
Nobody was better than the Hulkster selling a loss after they cheated on him.
No,
You know,
that was
like
great.
most people just like complain. He's like, "Come on, look at him, look at him." He
And
point
the
right
money
at the
was
people.
like, and he ripped the money like out of Earl's pocket, and it goes all over the ring. And this, it was great. And then Jack Tunney had to get involved. Those of you who don't know about Jack Tunney, go look him up. But he was the president of WWF at the time.
Yes.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the top of the hour. I want to thank you guys for checking us out and joining us. Thank you to Tara and Dave Abbey for chiming in. Dave Roscoe, as always. And you can join us every Tuesday, 9 p.m. right here. Anywhere you can stream a podcast, it will be up within 24 to 48 hours, outside of it being streamed live on YouTube and a couple different Facebook pages. But if you want to find us, we're out there. You can find it. And then also throughout the week, brand new, you'll see shorts and reels all over social media. So find them, like them, share them, heart them, and keep spreading the word. And we hope to see you next week as we talk more pro wrestling. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. See you next week.
Have a good one.